The Oklahoma Sooners have a very dangerous road game in front of them. Oklahoma is number 10 in the nation. They're 19-6. Georgia Lady Bulldogs are 20-6. Oklahoma just beat Alabama, who's a ranked team. They just beat Florida before that, but they lost to Vandy, lost to Texas, two pretty elite teams in the SEC, and they beat Texas A&M. Georgia just beat Vandy by 2 points, but they were. I said in my video up to on this game, Georgia is dangerous. The Bulldogs is dangerous. Now they did lose to Mississippi State, but Mississippi State's just been doing some wild stuff themselves this year. They're dangerous. They beat Mizzou, lost to Tennessee in overtime, and lost to Alabama. But Georgia seems to be at a point where they're like, no, we ain't doing it no more. Oklahoma, who has got one of my two favorite centers in women's basketball, that is Reagan Beers, has been doing some great things. She's a double double machine. They have five players in double digits in scoring. Georgia has four, and nobody close behind them. But Danny Carnegie and Trinity Turner are an amazing duo. Uh, they really are. And they've got a center that's probably could do some decent things against Reagan Beers, but Reagan Beers is just on a different level. Aaliyah Chavez, on the other hand, that's the main scorer for Oklahoma, and I'm still not happy with her. She's also leading in assists, though. It's an odd team. So this is a dangerous game because when Georgia gets their act in order, they can beat you. They're guaranteed to be going to the NCAA tournament. Everybody's already talking about it. It's pretty much a guarantee that they are headed to the NCAA tournament. And they're not even ranked, but it's pretty much guaranteed. Oklahoma, pretty much guaranteed to go to the NCAA tournament. Georgia is 6-6 in the SEC. Oklahoma is 7-5. But Georgia, if they get everything going right, and notice I said they have to get everything going right. When they beat Vandy, here's what they did. Let's look at this team stat wide. What in the world? I'm tired of some of these commercials. They went 56% field goal shooting, kept Vandy at 37%, had 44% 3-point shooting, held Vandy to 31%. Free throw percentage, not really that big of a deal. Offensive rebounds, they didn't get as good, but defensive rebounds, they had 27 to Vandy's 15. Assists, they had 14 to Vandy's 19, so they were working a little bit better as a team. Only got 6 steals to Vandy's 10, so, turnovers, they did have 19. They see, there are certain, they still had some problems here, but still, 56% shooting. If they do that against Oklahoma, Oklahoma's going to have some problems. So we're going to cover this by the numbers. And this is that segment in Athens. So we're going to cover this by the numbers. We're going to try to determine who's going to win this game. Now, I am probably going to be off as to who wins this game. But let's get into it. Before we get into the crux of this video, hit like, hit subscribe if you like college sports, because I do college sports, primarily college football, college women's gymnastics, do a little basketball and other sports on occasion, but that's what I do, college. Also, General Robert Neyland, former University of Tennessee head football coach for decades, had 7 maxims to win any game, but they can also help you if you apply them correctly to your life. The second one is play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score.
That is a maxim that can be also applied to your life. Look for those breaks and take it.
Now, Oklahoma as a team is scoring 87.3 points on average a game. They're allowing 66.1 points a game. So their defense is a little weak sauce. Their field goal percentage is at 45.9%, which is pretty darn good. 71.5 free throw percentage, 30.5 3-point percentage. That's a little low. They make 7.1 3 points a game. They get 20.4 assists. So they're really working as a team. Uh, Yahoo says they have 43.6 rebounds. ESPN says 48.6. I still don't understand the difference. Maybe somebody can tell me down in the comments. 16.1 turnovers a game, 5.2 block shots a game. That's average for, women's basketball. They have 10.2 steals. They're, you know, but they've got a solid defensive team. Aaliyah Chavez, who is in the game 32.1 minutes a game, is scoring 18.1 points a game, 3.8, getting 3.8 rebounds, leads in points, leads in assists. She's getting 4.2 assists, 1.5 steals, zero point 0.3 blocks, 3 turnovers. Okay, now we're going to get into the numbers I don't like about Aaliyah Chavez. She's getting 3 turnovers a game, 37.6 field goal percentage, which is hilariously low, 32.5 3-point percentage. That is numbers. But she is getting 91.5 free throw percentage. Reagan Beers, like I said, one of my two favorite NCAA women's centers, 25.2 minutes a game, 16.1 points, 10.4 rebounds. She's a double-double machine, 2.3 assists, zero point 0.3 steals. Okay, I take that back. She's one of my three favorites. Because I like Medina Okada, I like Claire Strack, and I like Reagan Beers. 2.3 assists, zero point 0.8 steals, 1 block a game, which she leads in. She leads in rebounds and blocks. But she's only getting 1 block a game. 2.3 turnovers, a little high. 62.1 field goal percentage. 13.3 3-point percentage. That's actually raised. 61 free throw percentage. 61% free throws. Sahara Williams, 27.2 minutes a game, 12.2 points a game, 7.9 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 1 steal, 0.6 blocks, 2.9 turnovers, which is way too high, 47.2 field goal percentage, 24.1 3-point percentage, though, and 68.8 free throw percentage. And Peyton Burr-Hoist, 30.9 minutes a game, 12.1 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 1.4 steals, 0.8 blocks, 1.6 turnovers, 42.8 field goal percentage, and 31.5 3-point percentage on 80% free throw shooting. Now look, they're they're relying heavily on Aaliyah Chavez. And yes, she does little things here and there that shows that she is important to the game. But the problem is that she can't quit turning the ball over, and she's not a shooter. So you're having to rely on somebody who's barely a shooter. Okay, yes, she has a 32.5 3-point percentage, which is actually a little low, with 37.6% field goal percentage, which is hilariously low. But as a team, they're shooting really well, except for 3 points. They're getting Reagan Beers rest. Peyton Burr-Hoist is also in there quite a bit. Zyban, who leads and steals with 2.3, is in there quite a bit. This team, the only problems I've got with this team is you're relying on a player that shooting is subpar at best. You've got other players that are in these games that, I don't think they're switching out enough. Really, I don't. It's a good team, and I love Reagan Beers, but seriously, there's too many oddities for this team to be a solid team. I know Jenny Baranczyk has to be wondering about half their problems. Okay, let's talk about Georgia. Georgia, sweet Georgia. Okay, 75.3 points. They're scoring 75.3 points a game. They're allowing 60.4 points a game against them. They're allowing their opponents to score 60.4 points a game. So they're a little off on their defense, a little. When you look at other teams, but Oklahoma's not got that great of a defense. 45.1 field goal percentage, which is about even with uh, Oklahoma, a little bit worse, but not bad. 71.2 free throw percentage, right in line with Oklahoma. 3-point percentage, 34.6%. So they're actually doing a little bit better as a team, not only against Oklahoma, but better than, because most people shooting 3-pointers get about 1 in 3, even though the really good ones get far better. 3 points made per game, 7. They get 14.4 assists. When they work on their assists, they do a little bit better, but they didn't do as good in their win against Vandy. But still. Now, they get about 34.4 rebounds a game, according to Yahoo. 38.4 according to ESPN. Yet again, if you're listening to this and know the reason why the difference is, please tell me. 13.7 turnovers a game. That is actually a nice little bit better than Oklahoma. They get only 3 block shots a game, though. That's not good. They only get 8.5 steals. That's a little weak sauce. Now, when you're looking at this team, Danny Carnegie, Trinity Turner, but Danny Carnegie, 32 points. She leads in points and rebounds, and she's a guard. Your forward should be leading or your center should be leading in rebounds. 18.5 points a game on 32.7 minutes, 5.7 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.5 steals, no blocks, 2.2 turnovers, little high, but not that bad considering all she does. 44.7 field goal percentage, good number. Not amazing, but still good number. 83.7 free throw percentage and 38.9 3-point percentage. So she can shoot. Not as good as some, but she's far better than Aaliyah Chavez. Mia Woolfolk, 22 minutes a game, 12.5 points a game, 5.4 rebounds, zero point 0.8 assists, 1.4 steals, 0.4 blocks, 1.8 turnovers, 58.9 field goal percentage, no 3-pointers though. She can't hit the 3-pointers, 75% free throw percentage. Riley Thurkoff, who is a really invaluable player to this team, 28.7 minutes, 11.8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.6 steals, zero point 0.1 blocks, 1.5 turnovers, 43.1 free throw percentage, 41.8 3-point percentage, and 84.4 free throw percentage. Trinity Turner, who is the really is valuable, 33.3 minutes a game, 11.4 points a game, 4.9 rebounds, 5 assists. She leads in assists and steals, 1.8 steals, 0.2 blocks, 2.8 turnovers. So your two most important players, even though you've got others that are really important, like Riley Thurkoff, but the two most important players, turnovers. But 2.8 is really not good. 38.9 field goal percentage. That could be way higher. 29.7 3-point percentage. And 73.1 free throw percentage. Now look, you're heavily relying on Trinity Turner, and she can't shoot with the flip. But hey, you've got Danny Carnegie. Danny Carnegie is a pretty good shooter. So is Mia Woolfolk. So is Riley Thurkoff. You've got folks who can hit 3-pointers. So you need a floor general. Center's getting only 0.9. You need a block. Steals could be a little bit better. This is defense. This is what they need to do. They need to be working on defense before this game. That's the only thing I got to say about that. Georgia needs to work on defense. That's their weakness. I'm looking at both these teams. They're quite similar in a lot of ways, not to mention the simple fact of this is in Stegman Coliseum. It's in Athens, Georgia. This is a home game for Georgia. Now, Georgia has only lost against SEC opponents. They lost to Ole Miss. They lost to LSU, South Carolina, Ole Miss twice. Or no, they beat Ole Miss once, lost to them once. So they're 1-1 against Ole Miss. LSU and South Carolina, well, of course they did. Everybody has been. They lost to Tennessee in overtime at Stegman, lost to Alabama in Stegman, and they lost to Mississippi State at Mississippi State. That loss to Mississippi State was a convincing loss, and also, but Mississippi State has been an interesting team as well this year. They've got Oklahoma, Auburn, Texas, and Florida left. So they got 2 guaranteed wins, a guaranteed loss, and then they've got Oklahoma. Oklahoma lost to UCLA earlier on in the year. I don't know why they're the number 10 team in the nation. Why? Because they lost to UCLA earlier on in the year, lost to Ole Miss at home, lost to Kentucky, lost to LSU. They were able to beat South Carolina in overtime. They lost to Texas, lost to Vandy. They were able to beat Alabama. They're 2 hit or miss, but they also beat Oklahoma State, who was ranked at the time. They're 2 hit and miss. I don't see them as a top 10 team. I think they're far more equal than that. I think, when you look at what ESPN is saying, ESPN is saying that Georgia's got a 27.1% chance to win. Oklahoma's got a 72.9% chance to win. I think it's closer to 50-50. Maybe leaning a little bit more towards Oklahoma. But in all honesty, I'm not going to call who's going to win this game. I know who I think's going to win this game, and then the other part of me's going, yeah, the other team's just as good when they want to be. I can't call this game. I can't. This is one of those games where these two are too close, and I think Georgia's been very hungry this year. That win against Vandy, I don't know if they're going to let it get to their heads, or if they learned from what they did against Vandy. That's the problem. You have to figure that out. You tell me what you think, honestly, because I'm looking at this and I'm going, they're just too similar. This has been Paul, the Redneck with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. Hey, folks, before you leave, if you're can't become a member via my YouTube channel, which that's for my thinker. I've also got sports. I've got a Patreon. If you really, really want to help me out, I would be much appreciated. But hey, hitting like, hit subscribe, hit commenting, all those things really help me out. Have a good day.